Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I am sitting relaxing, doing a little bit knitting now. I have been on my computer, my new computer that I had to buy because my other one gave up the ghost. I thought I had fixed my other one because I did a little bit of repair thing to it, and when I checked it afterwards it seemed perfect. But I've had a look at it today just to check whether there was anything else in it that I needed to take out, and it's still up the creek. It's still not working right. So I have been putting everything out of that I put on the hard drive. I'm putting it into this computer because it doesn't look like the other one's ever going to get used again. It's probably needs a new hard drive in it. I might sort that out one day. I'm not really bothered. But I've been sitting knitting, just relaxing, doing a bit of knitting. But I was thinking about, I also have an account with Ancestry.com, and I usually only renew it for about 6 months of the year in the winter months, because I don't really bother in the summer. I'm never sort of in the house to be bothered about it. And it usually costs me 69, I think it's 69.99 for 6 months, just renewing it for 6 months, because I do like to do a bit of family research for my own family, my husband's family, and anyone else that happens to ask me. I look up things for them. And like I'm saying, it used to cost me 69, I think it was 69.99, but they had a special offer. This was before Christmas, I think it came, and they offered me a whole year for 59.99. So I jumped at that, like the £10 cheaper, and for a year instead of 6 months. And when I was at my granddaughter's on Sunday, I was babysitting the kids for a while. She was out with the oldest boy with he had a football game. And my grandson, David, that's Cheryl's brother, came around to keep me company while I was looking after the kids and that. And I just thought while I was sitting there, I had a look through the Ancestry thing on my phone, because I have it on my phone as well. I have it on my computer. It's better on my computer. You can see more things on the computer. But my grandson decided, to have a look at what I was doing on the phone, and he noticed the Ancestry thing and was very interested in it. So I was showing him all how far I think I got back with my family. I thought it was about 1600 something, but when I checked on the thing, it was 1700 something. So I was showing him how all these relatives were, and long ago, and on my side of the family, and on my husband, his granddad's side of the family. And I've got a hare in there tying me wool up. That's what I get when I don't tie my hair, when I leave it hanging down like this. Hair drops off all over the place. Look, it's all tied up in there. Don't know how my hair must have fell out while I was sitting here. But he was interested, so I was telling him all about the family and where he came from, more or less, going back in history, and that made me reminded me about a case a little while ago. I think I actually made another video. It's probably on my vlog stories, but I think I told this story once before, but there's probably a lot haven't heard about this one. Well, my husband died in 2014. In 2017, 3 years later, there was a letter came addressed to him. Well, naturally I opened it because I mean, he's not going to come from up there or down there, wherever he is, so open the letter yourself. And it was from a people finder, and they were asking if my husband was the nephew of a particular person, and they had all my name on as his wife, and my sons, and so there was a telephone number. So I phoned the number and I told them that about my husband. I says because apparently this letter, there was some money there was someone, Daniel had died and had left, there was money in the treasury, and they were trying to find the family who this money might belong to, because he had died intestate. And I rang the number on the letter and told them that yes, that was my husband was the person I had written the letter to, and I explained to them about he had died 3 years previously, so whatever it was would be nothing to do with me, because it was my husband's relative, not mine. And they said as I was his wife, I was entitled to anything that might have come to him. So I thought, oh well. So they asked me to make a claim for this money that was in the treasury, to put in a claim for it, and they would sort it all out, and that's what I did. And it was a little while later I got a letter, and I had to give them all the information. I told them about my husband was one of 4 brothers, and I gave them the names and addresses of 2 of them who were still alive. That one of the brothers had died, but he had 2 sons, so I gave them their names and addresses and anything else I could think of, and I got in touch with my husband's oldest brother, because he's still alive. He's one of the 2 that's still alive, and told him about the letter, and that they were wanting to know about this Uncle Daniel, who that's all calling me Uncle Daniel, because that's who he was, his Uncle Daniel as well. And he said, and I told him about the money that was in the treasury, and they asked me to put a claim in, and that's what I had done. And he started laughing, and he says, my Uncle Daniel was one of seven children. If there's any money in the treasury, if it's got to be shared amongst all the families, there's not going to be much. We're not going to get much. But when we looked into like me having the Ancestry.com, I looked up all the family on the Ancestry thing, and I had found that there was two sisters and 5 brothers, including Daniel. One of the brothers had died during the war with no family, and another one had died in an accident before the war with no family. So there was only 4 altogether, or being 5 including Daniel, but there was only 4 left alive, and we sorted out. My husband's brother knew the married names of the 2 sisters and that, so we sent all our information to these people finder. Well, this Uncle Daniel had the information I had sent to me. He had died in 2005. That was the information, and I got in touch with one of the other people who would have been a beneficiary, my husband's cousin. Her, I'm not sure it was her mother. It was one of the other family, was her parent. I didn't know anything about her. But she had contacted me on Ancestry.com before all this, because she had seen my family tree and had realised we belonged in the same family, and that's how I come to know her. And anyway, I told her what had happened, and then I had sent all the information to these people finder and all that, because she knew this Daniel. She lived down south, and Daniel lived down south as well. So she knew that Uncle Daniel, and I told her that I'd put in the claim for the whatever was in the treasury, and it would be sorted out eventually. But I got a letter from solicitors, because apparently the money that was in the treasury was over, if it was over £15,000, there had to be solicitors involved. And apparently they didn't tell you how much was in, but it was over 15,000. So I had to fill out all this information on the solicitors' forms, and that about was my husband, when he had died, he left a will and all this, that, and a lot of other things. And I sorted all that out and sent it back. And then when I was in touch with my husband's cousin, we were talking on the phone one day, and I mentioned to her the date that Daniel this Daniel had died. It was 2005, and she started laughing. And she said to me, my Uncle Daniel died in 19, not sure the exact date, around about 1987, something like that. So I said, oh, well, it can't be your Uncle Daniel then, is it? I said, this one that's got the money in the treasury. If your Uncle Daniel died in 1987, this one died in 2005. So anyway, I said to my husband's cousin, I said, I'll get in touch with the people find and tell them they've got the wrong family. So that's what I did. I sent I phoned them first. That was it. I didn't ring. I phoned them and I told them that about what my husband's cousin had said and all that, and that she actually knew this Uncle Daniel, and she had actually been at his funeral, so she knew he had died in 1987. So they thanked me for all the information and that they would sort it out and that. So never heard anything more. It was about 9 months later. Got a letter. In this letter was a cheque, just over £500. Our share of this money that was supposed to go into the treasury. And I phoned my husband's cousin, and before I could even say anything, she says, I know why you're phoning. She says, I bet you've got a letter as well. I says, yes, I did. I says, I've got a letter. She says, same as me, £500, just over £500. I says, yes. So we got in touch with some of the other relatives and that, and they'd all received that checks. And apparently these people finder had spent money on death certificates and birth certificates, marriage things and all the rest of it. It had cost them money. No way were they going to lose all that money. So he was our Uncle Daniel, whether we wanted him or not. So I was better off by just over £500 that went towards a holiday the next year for me. So that's what these people finders do when they search through these ancestry things. You can find people. I find a lot of people who I think are related to me, my husband and all that, and you keep on doing a bit more research and you find out they're not. You've got the wrong person. There's a lot of people with the same names and that. But this was a big mistake from 1987 to 2005, 2 different deaths. And they had that information, but like I'm saying, better in our pocket than the treasury. So that was something I told my grandson, that story, and he couldn't stop laughing. And he says, "Now you come up with daisies every time, don't you?" Well, that was just a little bit story. I'm doing a bit more of Angela's cardigan now. And I have got a little bit more of this little one I was doing. I'll not be doing this one till the weekend again, but I have got all the pieces done. The back, and I've started sewing. I've stitched one sleeve on. The other sleeve, I've got the front bit to stitch on, and then I'll have to put the collar on afterwards. I can't put the collar on till I've done the little bits down the front. I think there's a piece missing. Oh, there's a piece. I thought I'd knitted a piece there. It's I have to do the bands down the front and then put the collar on, but that's weekend work, that one, so I'll be doing that later on. Anyway, I've put that back in the bag there before I lost the pieces for it. So I'm doing Angela's at the moment, and tomorrow I'll be at my bingo, so I'll only have during the day to do whatever I have to do. So that was just a little story for today that you might have heard before. If you've looked through my playlists, it'll be in the blog stories. I think I have told it before, but anyway, thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll get back to you another day and maybe find some other story that I haven't told before. So bye for now.